Cuffs are off, man. Get right. Too many left in these leagues, but I ain't gonna...
Hey everybody, Adam Rank here.
What's up everybody? It's Marcus Grant from NFL Network.
This is AJ Dillon of the Green Bay Packers.
I got to give a shout out to y'all at Get Right Fantasy.
If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? You want to lose your league?
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network.
You got to get right with the Get Right Fantasy Network.
Best of luck with your podcast. Appreciate the support.
And you're tuned in to watch my boys at Get Right Fantasy Network. Get you right. Enjoy the show.
Marking nothing, but I tune in every Friday. Strategies provided, I will lock in every way. So go and roll your sleeves up, yeah, go and roll your sleeves up. And I'm getting down, cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting right, cause I roll my sleeves up.
What up? What up? What up, world? We are back. I'm Anthony, aka Rasta. This is Get Right Fantasy Network. It's week 2 is no more. We're on to week 3, turning the page. Hope you had a good week 2, man. Maybe some of you guys are sitting at 2-0, 1-1, or 0-2. Either way, Frank and I are here to help you guys get those lineups right heading into week 3, man. Besides the Nick Chubb injury, Frank, which we'll get into here, how was your week 2, man?
Actually, it was the opposite of last week. We were just talking a second ago. My week's totally flipped over, and yeah, I'm happy. I was like, yes, that's why I drafted these guys. Don't panic, hold on. But I still got injuries, multiple injuries, multiple guys still out.
Don't
you know,
we all?
And big news today. You know, so right, get it out of the way.
Yeah, we'll definitely jump in it, man, for sure. We'll definitely be talking about that. Just the running back wasteland. Just that's basically what's going on right now. So we'll see what happens, man. We have our overreaction show, man. So we're definitely going to sit back, overreact everything that went on. We're going to get into our waiver wire targets here. We're going to bring back the game balls, man. We're going to give out some game balls here to the top performers by position. So that'll be a lot of fun. Of course, go through all those injuries, the news topics. And again, those waiver wire guys we're going to be talking about are guys that are rostered in 65% of leagues or less on Sleeper and Yahoo. Couples that we feel like should be 100% that we're definitely going to mention just on the side on the chance that he's available in your league. So that's what we'll do here tonight. Then Frank and I will be back here with you guys on Wednesday for the roster management show, or the roster management. We'll get in the buy, sell, trade targets, kind of, who to add, maybe who to drop after waivers clear. So we'll get into that on Wednesday, of course, taking your questions every night that we're here live. So if you do have a question, make sure you drop it in the chat. Anything you want to contribute to the show here. Fridays, Classic and I will be back here doing our game-by-game start-sit and taking live Q&A. Who do we start? Who do we sit for week 3? And then Classic will have his Sunday morning show. So hopefully you guys will join us there. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button for us. If you're already subscribed, hit that like button. We're trying to get to 100 or 1,000 subs. I keep saying 100, man. I still remember it like it was yesterday. But we're almost at 1,000 subs, man. So help us get there if you're watching tonight. Again, drop your questions in the chat. We'll definitely get to those as we go on. And more so, this show is just to kind of dwell over the week, maybe get some praise in there for the things that went good. And then, for those things that went bad, we can talk about it, let it off our chest, and roll our sleeves up and get to work, man, and start turning things around if that's where we're sitting at, man. So without any further ado, we'll get into the promo reads later. You guys always know to go check out underdogfantasy.com, man. Use that promo code GetRight. We'll get into all what they do. But again, if you do happen to go swing over there, again, use that code GetRight. They'll make a 100% match when you deposit $10 to $100. So take advantage of that, man, and get in there. I guess I threw the read in there anyway. It was a quick one, though.
Right.
So
what's up? These guys, they got here early. Ron,
shout out to Ron. What's up, Ron? Calling us out
on time. Yes,
I like.
We have lives a little bit, so we got to get ready.
Absolutely, a lot of stuff happened, man. We wanted to get the show prep in here. We don't want to half-ass it for you guys in here, man. We want to make sure we do this. Of course, we do this part-time for you guys, so we still got other things going on. But definitely something we commit to.
We try to be here on time with you, GR.
Absolutely.
Sometimes
It may be a little late,
right,
but we're here. Exactly.
I like
to.
Football was already here too as well. What up, Ronald? What's up with the terrible Chubb injury? Get hurt like that? It's terrible, terrible.
Yeah, and we're gonna basically jump right into that here. Again, big shout out to everybody there. We got Wilson in there saying what's up. We got Martin in the house over at the Dynasty Pylon. Make sure you guys go check him out.
Yeah.
He said he just needed 1 sack from Myles Garrett. My boy got contained. I had him too, man. I needed him to score like 46 points in my league in order to win. That definitely didn't happen. So I took the L there. But what's up, Martin? Glad you can join us here. I'm sure you'll be dozing out here pretty soon. I know he always says we're out here too late for him. We got Perry in the house. What's up, Perry? He just got offered Garrett Wilson and Connor for Akua.
I'm saying Puka.
I mean, that's tough. I'd probably take the Wilson Connor. Might come back. But we'll get into that here for sure. Even more so on Wednesday when we get into trades.
We got they're being smart by keeping him out. They're being smart. Think about it. When he comes back, they're avoiding that whole re-injury thing. You know what I mean? Let him come back strong.
Yeah, well, he's on IR, so he can't come back even if he was ready tomorrow.
I know. I'm just saying, but that's a good reason to put him on IR to get that 4 weeks in him.
For sure. Mr. Bakes a lot saying, "What's good, homies? How's it going?" And Ron just letting us know. Well, look who showed up. So we're finally here, man. Thank you for having us on your show here, Ron. We appreciate it, man. Love you, brother. All right, man. So let's get into it, man. Without any further ado, I was trying to hold off for as long as we could, man, because this just makes me so sad and frustrated and mad. Browns running back Nick Chubb, man, suffers nasty knee injury. Dislocation, could have a fracture, could have torn every ligament, ACL, MCL, LCL, PCL. They've already come out and said, he's done for the season. And the more brutal part is it's the same left knee that he injured in 2015 when he tore everything but the ACL.
Yeah.
So, I was watching the video by Fantasy Docs, Dr. Morse, and, one thing I didn't even think about was he said when you have these dislocation kind of fractures or, just knee dislocations like that, it could tear the actual blood vessels that are running through there and could be potential amputation. Like he's talking, could be, potential loss of limb. Like this is a very serious injury that he suffered. So just obviously prayers and thoughts out to him, man. Great fantasy running back. Just all around nice guy. I don't think there's really many people out there. I don't care what team you like. Unless Nick Chubb, did you dirty and cost you a championship or something, he might be the only reason you're not rooting for this guy, man. But just as a human being, from all of us here, man, I get right. We just wish him just a recovery, man. Let alone if he can make it back out on the field. So yeah, absolutely, man. So get well soon on that. Anything you want to say on that, man? I know I kind of covered a lot of it there. I'm sorry.
You covered it. That's the whole point of going through
brutal,
that.
Man.
Yeah, brutal injury. Season's over, but you got to go forward. And as Neanderthal mentions, Ford looked really good. But yeah, they got to get somebody. Now, does that mean they bring Kareem Hunt? He's already thinking about Kareem Hunt come back. He was with the Browns. Maybe they just be all like, well, the offense, or whatever, right?
Right.
I mean,
Clay, we'll get your locker ready, get you all ready, good to go. So
is he a waiver wire ad for the week? Maybe the stash.
I got him on my list.
You already got him.
Yeah, I definitely got him on the list.
It sucks though. But yeah, I mean, we got to look at it this way as fantasy managers or whatnot. Always when there's an injury, especially to a big key player like that, you have to get their backups, and that's why it's important to handcuff some of your top players, because then you have the automatic backup ready to go, especially if they're a good player, a decent one. You know who they are. There's a couple out there that if that guy goes down, they're the next man up for sure. So
absolutely,
keep that in mind.
But it doesn't always work. And on that note, there's no timeline on Chargers running back Austin Eckler, his return from his ankle injury. They haven't come out and said it's a high ankle, but with all this talk, like maybe it is. Like I don't know. But obviously he's trying to work to get back. He does have those incentives. That I'm sure he wants to reach for his contract and things like that.
I think it was, we should have known better, because you and I were talking about this, and I was like, that dude's sure doing a lot of shows right now, fantasy shows, while he's supposed to be playing. He must have been he already knew he was taking some time off. He just wasn't saying nothing. He did like 3 shows, right? We talked about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I honestly thought that was the reason why I thought he was going to play. Because normally, like, if someone's hurt, like they don't, they usually don't have to do any media. Like for him, it was the complete opposite. So I thought, he would be available. But speaking of which, sometimes the guy you pick up maybe isn't always that guy. We all ran and got Josh Kelly. I know I started him in place of Eckler on one of my teams when I got that news. And he came out and had a terrible day, even though he ran great while Eckler was there. So again, you just kind of never know with these, but you just try to do your best, see what the opportunities are, and try to see what happens. So again, we're all keeping an eye on that. Again, a lot of big. These are all first round running backs that aren't playing right now, week 2.
Yeah,
Nick Chubb,
right.
Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
The next guy we're getting to, who was on the thumbnail, Saquon Barkley. Again, another top 5 running back. He suffered what they're calling an ordinary. So I think they're trying to be clear that it's not a high ankle sprain. They're just saying it's an ordinary ankle sprain. And apparently they said he's expected to sideline him 3 weeks. Then something comes out later saying, they considering him week to week. So again, take that with a grain of salt either way. But it looks like we're going to be without Barkley, Chubb, and potentially Eckler here in week 3. Another running back that went down this week, Lions running back David Montgomery. His was one of the weirdest things. He goes out originally with like a knee injury, they said. We saw him leave on the cart with the ice pack on his knee, which I thought it was his knee, looked like his knee to me. And I'm gonna have to go back and look, but in my mind, I saw knee and they said knee. And then after the game, it comes out. Yeah, they're saying, oh, it's a quad, and he's saying it would take a couple weeks for his quad injury to heal up. That's what he said right after the game, and he's walking with a limp. And then it comes out today, and they're just saying Dan Campbell says it's a thigh bruise. I don't know what's going on here with David Montgomery.
The thigh is where the quad is at.
It goes from the knee to the quad to the thigh. I guess you're saying quad and thigh is the same thing. It's just very strange, very strange to me. Thigh bruise, quad, exactly, man. It's all there. So either way, man, they're just saying it could be a couple weeks, or that's what he said, actually. David Montgomery, after the game, said it would take a couple weeks for his quad injury to heal. So prepare to be without Montgomery. Fire up Jahmyr Gibbs, possibly there. Or maybe they go out and make a signing. Who knows? We had Jamal Williams go down, dealing with the hamstring, left the game, did not return. Saints running back Jamal Williams. They're still without Kamara 1 more week. I think Keandre Miller was active, kind of last minute active tonight, but didn't really get much run from what I saw. Yeah. And, so Tony Jones Jr. Looks like he might be the guy in that backfield, which we'll get to here a little bit later. You had exactly. We got Dolphins running back Savon Ahmed saying he did not tear his groin. It's not an overly long situation, Mike McDaniel said. So maybe what is that, a week or 2 that he may be out. But again, they're getting kind of thin there as well. No Jeff Wilson. Devon Achane was just active. Didn't get much run there either. So maybe he slowly starts to get worked in there. Mostert had a big week. So we'll see what's going on there in the Dolphins backfield. We have the whole weird situation with Cam Akers going on. Starting week 1 as the RB1 for the Rams. Basically saw him lose his job through that game. And, now they're made him inactive last minute on Sunday and saying he's going to be traded. So What are your thoughts on this one here with the Acre situation? Maybe he goes to
Well, yeah,
Cleveland now.
he's got to find a job, but it's over with over there. I mean, the writing was basically on the wall anyways. And Kyron Williams showing up. So I think the writing's been on the wall, and it's time to move on. And obviously, there's a lot of running backs that are going down. So maybe he could get a starting job somewhere, at least a backup or something. There's opportunities out there.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll definitely keep our eyes on it.
Kyron,
So
though.
yeah, definitely. I mean, he's the starter over there now, and we'll definitely be talking about him as our waiver wires here as we move on. Just a lot of, again, we got Gainwell out, with Philly. Obviously, Swift had a big week over there with him out. This is basically why I go hero RB or even zero RB. Because look, it's week 2 and basically like 10 running backs aren't playing in week 3. You still got Aaron Jones out, who was the RB1 in week 1. I mean, it's insane out there, man. So you're just trying to dodge injuries left and right. So we'll see how it goes, man. As far as wide receivers go, we have Devontae Adams. He's looking good after taking a big hit yesterday. Through a penalty, left the game, evaluated for a concussion. They're not saying he's in the concussion protocol. They're just saying he was evaluated for one. And he's doing good today. Yeah. So I seen yeah. So it was pretty bad. I was like, oh man, I got a lot of Devontae Adams, but at least he already kind of produced already. But of course, you just hope he's okay.
Yeah.
We always say that. Yeah, that's just
Kobe Myers because he went to the concussion protocol. But he didn't even get to play this last week. So
yeah,
but yeah, hopefully
he missed the week
back next week.
Yep, they're saying he's headed in the right direction. He's progressing through the concussion protocol. So nice segue into that one. You got DK Metcalf. Came up like 2 inches short on an almost touchdown over there. Got just rocked right in the ribs and played for a little bit, then kind of left, and then ended up coming back. Pete Carroll's just saying he's going to need a couple days to recuperate. So he'll be sore. I'm sure they'll inject it, and I'm pretty confident he should still be able to play. He just has to worry about trying to get more targets than Tyler Lockett, man. Lockett's the man. Brandon Ayuk, we saw him lay out for that ball, or maybe not we. I know I did. I was watching that game. He got banged up with his shoulder, man. They're saying if they did practice today that he would be out. So take that for what you will, playing on a short week against the Giants this week on Thursday. So just something to monitor. You had wide receiver Zay Jones. He's day-to-day with a knee injury. He did leave the game a little bit, but did return. Ended up playing 66% of the snaps. So he should be okay, considering he came back. You have
all these guys gotta hurt you though, because they didn't have the greatest of games. And you started Ayuk after last week, and Zay Jones had a good week. You started him, but they had mediocre games. I mean, Ayuk, I don't think what did he score, like 2 points or something?
Yeah, he didn't do too well. I think he had like 6 points or something in a PPR.
Just that they're injured. You ended up like definitely starting these guys after seeing a promising week 1, and now you're like,
That's fantasy football, man. That's where we're at. We got Deontay. Yeah, it's rough, man. You gotta love to hate it. Deontay Johnson, who missed this last week, already missing 1 game. They placed him on IR today, meaning he's going to miss the next 4 games. So that's at least 5 games minimum that he's going to miss, and then we'll see how he is as he gets ready to come back. So unfortunately, probably not talking about Deontay for a while. So just wish him the best on that hamstring. You got a Dolphins wide receiver, Jalen Waddle. He's in concussion protocol. Again, this is just week 2, guys. This is week 2. Jalen Waddle in concussion protocol, man. This is crazy. You got Odell Beckham Jr. dealing with an ankle injury as well. Harbaugh saying it shouldn't affect his availability going forward, though. And then you got freaking Anthony Richardson.
Awesome.
He got blasted, head bounced off the dang turf over there. I don't know if you guys remember, but remember last week? Remember when he took that shot? And I was like, oh, it's going to be funny if he ends up leaving this game, or it comes out later, and then he's being evaluated for concussion. It's going to be a little sketchy. And then he goes out with a concussion in week 2. So you can go back and watch the tape. I did kind of call that. Not that I'm calling for the guy to get hurt. And obviously we all saw his head bounce off the turf. But if he didn't have a concussion last week, he definitely had one after that. Yeah. I mean, that's for sure. So I definitely think, looking at it might be the Minshew show. And we'll see if Richardson even gets his job back, depending on what he does over here. So can't wait to talk about that.
Job back. They've seen enough.
Yeah, he already had a big game. He was already rushed for 2 touchdowns in that game. He was looking pretty good.
Enough. They already know.
Yeah, and then the big news of the day, Patrick Mahomes did it all. We didn't hear anything about anything. I didn't even know this was even an option or something they can do. They just all of a sudden, oh, there you go. See, Neanderthal. He remembers. He remembers me calling that. Yeah. Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes restructure his agreement, giving him $210.6 million between 2023 and 2026. It's the most money in NFL history over a 4-season span. They're saying his compensation for those years is now guaranteed. Remember, he signed that 10-year, basically $500 million. Was it like $450 or something? Almost $500 million contract, which was fairly team friendly. And then obviously with all the money going and him just coming off his second Super Bowl, they just took care of him. And this is what teams should do when you got a guy like that. Don't make him angry. Especially if you're not using that money on other players, at least give it to him.
Well, I think the
he has no one to throw to.
Because a lot of it is now guaranteed, and I think the guarantee part maybe doesn't hurt them against,
Yeah, it helps them out.
Yeah, it helps them out to actually get players. Obviously, pay some other guys.
Yeah, that's still a big check that they gotta write and put into escrow right now. So it's hard to pull those go that liquid with that amount of cash that you got to pull in. So those Chiefs fans are definitely paying Mahomes, buying all that gear and all those trips to the Super Bowl, man, and AFC Championship games. But they're taking care of him, man. You like to see it.
They get paid. They get bonuses in the Super Bowl. They get money too.
Oh yeah, but this is crazy money. So congratulations to him, man. That's awesome. Get your kids out there, man. Put a football in their hand. Start teaching them quarterback position. Like
seriously,
we need 32 good ones. We don't even have that. Like, make it happen. Like, there's an opportunity. So I'm just saying, like, we can't even get 32 guys we're starting. He's a tackle, which is not a bad position to play.
Yeah. Hey,
so it protects the quarterback. Yeah, exactly. So not a bad position. But yeah. So anyway, that wraps up our news and notes here, man. We'll turn it over here to something even fun. Yeah, that was a brutal one.
Or like who got taken out.
Seriously,
he had you saved the happy news for the end. Somebody got paid. Everything else is like.
You see how I kind of
concussion protocols last week it was hamstrings. So yeah, and now people aren't even playing; they're getting traded out.
Exactly. Oh yeah, and Wilson's even saying JT's out, JK's out. Akers is somewhere else, man. You got everybody's gone, man. This is crazy. It's only week 2, man. Zero RB
on the IR. Shoot, that's just starting like 10 guys.
It's like the first round is just wiped out.
What year did this happen? I remember there was a year where there's just like the first.
It was the year JT was RB1. It was the year JT was RB1 because that's why he was RB1.
That's the one. Now we know.
Yeah.
See, we don't.
Here we go again. We never forget. All right. So there we go. Appreciate you guys in the chat, man. Sorry if we skipped something here, but Big Slot says, what's
right here. Oh, you got one? Go ahead.
I threw one up already. What's Chubb's dynasty value? Fournette to the Browns. He's calling. Yeah, Fournette's out there too. Chubb's dynasty value, man. I'd have to say it's low. Until we get as of right now, this moment, I can't even answer that. We need to find out. Like I was mentioning in the very beginning of the show.
Rash decisions.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you want to get out ahead of it, that's the only way. Is maybe you can sell and get out ahead of it. But for me, I just think it's one of those things, man. You might just have to hold on to them and see what happens. But of course, if you can deal them right now, if someone's willing to give you something, you might want to take what he can get. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, they're talking potential, loss of limb, literally career ending, because of those, because of the blood vessels that could potentially tear
Go
when you
watch
do
the
that
doctor video.
dislocation.
What's his name again?
Dr. Jesse Morse, Fantasy Docs.
Yeah.
So
Look
yeah,
up
go check that video out.
That'll answer all your questions about that. Then you can
There you
make
go.
up your own mind.
Well, that's not what they're here for. They're here to
No,
get
I'm
our
just
input
saying,
too. Help them talk them off the
regardless of that,
ledge.
what I'm just saying is,
Makes a
do
lot. Are
anything
you a
rash.
buyer or a seller? That's what I want to know. If he's a buyer, that's crazy. Yeah, is he trying to buy Chubb or is he trying to get rid of Chubb right now? So anyway,
Oh, that's terrible.
yeah.
I feel for you.
Oh, Chubb and Dobbins. Ooh, that's tough. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about, Donnie?
What are you talking about, Donnie? I like that name.
Funny.
What's up, man? Hopefully you hit that subscribe button for us, man. If you guys are watching, you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button for us. If you got questions, drop them in the questions or drop it in the chat. We'll get to them. Who else you got here? Cadillac, Deontay, A-Rod, Barkley injured. What do I freaking need? Yeah, we're all feeling it here, man. You got AJ Brody in the house. What's up, man? I see he's saying, should I trade Amari Cooper and Damian Pierce for James Conner and Terry McLaurin? As bad as Watson looked, I still like Cooper. I have a lot of shares of Cooper, so that might be a little biased. But my personal opinion is I'd like to keep the Cooper side. The Damian Pierce is a little tough, but he is getting that rushing workload. I think he had 2 targets this last game. They just, they got a rookie quarterback, so they're stacking the box. They're not really giving an opportunity. It's week 2. Like, I wouldn't give up on Pierce this quick.
Is James Conner is good or better than Amari Cooper? Terry McLaurin will come back.
I mean, in half. And I'm just not a Terry fan. I mean, he had a nice catch. Like, again, his talent doesn't worry me. I'm kind of down on Dotson right now. Really high on Brian Robinson right now, but I think he could. I'm not giving up Cooper quite yet. I mean, we saw what his targets and stuff were tonight. That was with a groin injury. So
coming back last minute, I'm going to play, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd like to keep Cooper. I think he's there. It's pretty close though. So you can go either way. Ron saying he would. He's saying
I would.
Yeah, but Connor's not going to be playing against the Giants every week, man. That's the problem. And he's going to have to face the Niners twice.
The quarterback looked good over there.
Yeah, they played the Giants D though, and I was the stupid one who went and streamed them against Arizona. Yeah, that was bad. All right, so what else we got to here?
This part of it.
Oh, there you go. Should I trade? Go ahead.
Should I trade Fields, St. Brown, and Warren for Burrow, Etienne, and Sutton? I have Ridley and Addison. Oh, nice. You got Ridley and Addison. So you're going to go. Are you trading away or receiving? Oh, you said so. It's 4. So he's trading away Fields, St. Brown, and Warren. Then Warren for Burrow, Etienne, and Sutton. What do you think? Burrow and Sutton will come back? Sutton can't hit. I don't know. I think he's done.
I think I'd stick with Fields, St. Brown, and Warren. I mean, you're trying to buy low on Burrow. You're kind of selling low on Fields as well. Etienne's definitely an upgrade over Warren, but to me, it's such a big gap between St. Brown and Sutton. It's not enough to make up that gap between Fields and Burrow at his, apex, and Warren and Etienne. So I'd keep your side, Fields, St. Brown, Warren. I mean, if you could get something else besides Sutton, I might consider it. But yeah, that's just me. I'd rather keep that
side. Where it drops off because of St. Brown and Warren. The rest of it looks pretty fair.
Yeah, if you can get something higher. Yeah, you get something higher than Sutton, then yeah.
And you really don't need to do anything. You already got Ridley and Addison also. I mean,
yeah, but you want to keep that depth. He's saying he might buy low, so he's a buyer. He's trying to buy Chubb. He's saying maybe a low 2024 second. I would maybe start at a third, see if you can just get it real quick. Because if they say his career is over, it's worth nothing. But you could throw out a third and a fourth, or a fourth. maybe a third. I'm the dentist, so don't ask me. But yeah, maybe start with a third. Give him a little respect. Say, hey, take this third now. But there you go. Yeah, and that's what we definitely saw. I mean, they were throwing to Cooper like crazy. I don't think they wanted to involve him as much, but that was only a chance. Just Watson looks so bad, and that Pittsburgh defense is really good. Shout out to your defense there, Wilson. And that just
Watson
shows
looks
like,
so bad.
and you guys saw what happened, like how my Niners.
I'm
Just
kind of worried. I have
wrecked them.
Watson, but I mean, now that he's throwing it the way he's throwing it, he's gonna have to. But I mean, honestly, the run helped because even Ford doesn't look bad, dude. Honestly, I mean, he's the waiver wire out of the week, maybe. What do you think?
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there.
But I'm just saying, like, Ford is definitely, what I mean, like, for real. You know what I mean? Like,
I have so many best ball teams with him.
Yeah,
I didn't want it to happen. I mean, I didn't want Chubb to go out this way.
No, we don't want nothing.
But I have a lot of shares of Jerome Ford in my best ball, so that might pay off here towards the end. Maybe might win that Best Ball Mania 3. Shout out to Underdog, man. We might get that, so we'll see. I'd give it all back to have Chubb come back because maybe he'll give me just as much.
I think so. I think so too. I think he'll, he even looked better towards some parts of it looked bad, but he was getting rushed on. I mean, what are you supposed to do? It's easy to say that.
He gave the ball away. He fumbled on that fourth down. Just fumble 6. Just 2 face mask penalties. Dude can't stop grabbing stuff that's not his. Come on, Deshaun Watson.
They didn't even call that pass interference at the end, though. I mean, come on, too. I mean, there was blatant pass interference, and they were like, "Nah, let's just go home."
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway. Wilson says, "Thanks, man, for big Pittsburgh fan over there." But Pickett looks awful. Yeah, he does. But that's okay. Your defense can win you games. Ask the Niners. You just need someone as good as Brock Purdy. You guys will be fine.
Yeah.
Got to get Deontay back though.
Exactly.
All right. Cadillac saying, do you guys think the Bengals can come back and Chase can still have a stellar performances? Absolutely. I'm with Ron here. He's absolutely fine. You're taking it away from me. No, you're good. Chase is absolutely fine. Think about who was throwing to Chad Ochocinco. Yeah. So, I think he'll be fine. If you can go buy low, which we'll get into, of course, on Wednesday on Jamar Chase, go do that. Go get him. Like, if you could Puka Nacua and somebody else for Jamar Chase, like, get that done immediately. All right. So we'll move on. Let's get about some game balls, man. So game balls are
before the game balls.
Where you at?
What's going on? The reason hold on a sec. One sec.
What do you got going on here?
Sorry. Before the game balls here, we should go over why we were used to be handing out game balls and talking about the performers of the week. I got it ready for you. I'm just going to give you the top 3 finishers for the week in each category. All right.
Yeah, go ahead, man. I like this. This is Frank's segment. Go knock it out of the park.
So here we go. We got quarterbacks. Number 1, Daniel Jones this week, 26 of 37, 321 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT. He rushed 9 for 59 yards and the touchdown. Ended up with 30.74 fantasy points on the day.
And that's in 4 point. A little higher in 6 point.
Yeah.
But that's
it's
good.
Just fantasy points. Yeah.
Yeah.
If
he was
I was
going
to ask you, I forgot to ask you, do you want me to do full PPR or just standard or whatever? I just went fantasy points. Kirk Cousins, number 2, 31, 44 for 364 yards, 4 TDs on the day. He didn't do any rushing for 28.56 fantasy points. And then number 3, which surprised me, Russell Wilson, because he hasn't.
That was on one throw.
Yeah, 18 to 32, 308 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 INT, rushing for 6 for 56. Ended up getting 25.92 fantasy points for the day on him. So surprising, just ugly, right? You got one good one.
Yeah. Interesting. Top 3. At least you had Josh Allen there at 4, or at least in 6 point. I think they're kind of maybe a little different order. But you got Josh Dobbs up there. Jared Goff. Jared Goff at home. He's always that dude. Jalen Hurts is up there as well.
Yeah, hold on. Hold on 1 second. Let me get back to you about that trade situation. We're gonna get a look at that.
Oh,
sorry.
Is he like they trade? Oh, he's messing with you. What's up, last man? I talked to Mike about what happened on Friday's show. That was hilarious. All right, so that's between us. We'll talk about that later. All right, so as far as quarterbacks go, again, some usual suspects here in the top 10. Interesting, Mahomes finished as QB 14 and 6 point per passing. But if I'm giving out a game ball, man, I'm giving it out, even though it was a loss. I'm giving out
quarterback game ball.
Yeah, I'm going to do a good quarterback game ball. Since you just read off quarterbacks, we'll stick with it that way.
I just want to make sure because I was like, I got more.
Yeah, no, we're good. So quarterback game ball, I'm going with Josh Dobbs, man. 21 for 31, 228 yards and a touchdown. 3 for 41, another touchdown on the ground. 27.22 fantasy points. In 6 point, a little more, or I think it was he finished as technically QB5, 25.22 in 4 point per passing touchdowns. So yeah, Josh Dobbs, man, game ball. Probably the only time he's going to get it. And they just barely lost against the Giants, which would have cemented it in. But this is definitely handing him the game ball. So who do you got, man?
I had to think about it for a second, but I would just
the guy I'm giving out the game ball I dropped. Sorry. I did just drop him before the game in the Ambassador League.
Right.
I needed to free up a roster spot, so I had to drop him because I had to bring DJ Chark off the IR.
I mean, I'm gonna stay with my guy, man. Jalen Hurts still doing it right, man. I'm telling you, he's just fucking producing, and doing what he's supposed to be doing as a number one wide receiver. 18 for 23, 193 yards, 1 touchdown. Still got 12 rushing attempts for 35 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, they were just doing that little quarterback sneak at the end, and they were getting that 1 yard.
And you did say wide receiver. I know you meant quarterback, but
yeah, quarterback. But yeah, I mean, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. I mean, you draft he's one of the healthy guys. All that, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and he's not feeling.
No, it's all good.
It's hard for me to say that.
Yeah, that's tough. So fellas, FML, AJ Brown pants, sheesh. So a little Arthur Wan, a little dud game. Sounds like it might have cost J Media there. So sorry about that. We got Gets in here. He says, should I panic on this 0-2 12 man? He has Lamar, Gibbs, Sanders, Chase, Watto, Kirk, Pitts, Zach Moss. His bench is Odell, Gabe Davis, Jamal Williams. And he said, I will get Ford off waiver. So he must have the number 1 waiver claim.
Oh, yeah.
When you add Ford to that mix, I think you're good. Your wide receivers are fine. I think you need to pick up a tight end. Yeah, I was going to say we both saw the same thing there. Get out of Pitts if you can. There's plenty of guys you can stream. Yeah, Musgrave. I mean, you got Watson coming back, but yeah, Hunter Henry. One of these guys. We'll talk about a couple here when we get to the tight ends. But yeah, other than that, I kind of hold ground. Maybe if someone like Jared Goff, is out there, we'll see what happens here with Lamar as they adjust the JK, but I expect, bigger games from him, get Bateman more healthy. So we'll see. I think Odell is droppable. I mean, I wasn't basically drafting him, dealing with an ankle injury right now. Plenty of guys on the waiver wire. I mean, that you could, potentially go after there. So maybe a couple adjustments, but, with Monty being out, Gibbs should be good. You'll get Ford in there over Sanders. Zach Moss still good for a couple weeks. So we'll see. So there we go. All right. Oh yeah. And Ron was saying AJ Brown's going to be fine because he did have 2 TDs called back. So, or should have had 2 TDs. So Neanderthal saying he's going to have Ford too. Screw you guys. That's why we need Fab. Well, I'll bid you.
Yeah.
I'll bid you for Ford.
It is what it is.
Spending all of it. Spending all my budget on Ford. You're getting it for the rest of the year. It's not.
We got another league. Other leagues you could do that. So we got. So we're gonna.
So yeah, go ahead. Let's move on.
Top 3 wide receivers. We're gonna do wide receivers now. Number 1, Mike Evans.
Are you going PPR or half? Are you going PPR or half? I'm
gonna go standard. I'm gonna go standard for you. How's that?
What? Nobody plays standard, Frank. At least half. At least half.
All right, fine.
Full PPR is better because it's not so touchdown dependent. That's why I like PPR. But PPR. There you go. Yeah, Ron, I'm spending it all, dude. Like my whole budget, like on the team that I need a running back on. I don't know if that's in the Ambassador League though. I don't know. I don't think I'm spending a lot there, but I do have a bid in on him. Go ahead. I was buying you some
I'm
time.
gonna throw the book at it too. All right,
We're all spending it. I'm just trying to get you guys to spend all your money now.
PPR, we got Keenan Allen. I don't mind. As long as I get these guys, I'm happy.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. All right, so go ahead.
We got 8 receptions for 111 yards, 2 touchdowns, a long of 42. He ends the day with 27.1 fantasy points. Number 2 in this case now, Mike Evans ends up showing up with 6 receptions, 75 yards, 170. I'm sorry, 75%. It's 8 targets, 6 receptions, 171 yards, 1 touchdown. Ends up the day with 26.1 fantasy points there, half PPR.
Shout out to Jeezy. Drafted him in the 5th and through 7th round in our mocks, telling us we're sleeping on Mike Evans.
Hey.
Through 2 weeks, you're right. I'll give you that. I did text him too. I told him, hey, you're right.
And I kept showing you that stat that we always downplayed Mike Evans. But
1,000 yards is whatever.
Yes.
I never doubted Evans.
1,000 yards.
I doubted Baker. I doubted Baker, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's happening. So
top 3.
3rd place, T Higgins, man. T Higgins ends up going
bounce back.
12 targets, 8 receptions for 89 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ends up with 24.9 fantasy points, half PPR. And shout out to Nico Collins, Pupu Nukua, who were the next guys up. But yeah, that's a nice lineup, man. It's interesting. I like Keenan Allen. That's my guy. Having him in as number 1, half PPR. We're looking pretty good with some of these top guys, man.
Absolutely.
Nico Collins and Puka are the up and comers right now. So
for sure. If I'm giving out a game ball, man, this week, which I am, I've anointed myself the opportunity to do that. I have to do it for my boy Nico Collins, man. Game ball for Nico Collins. 7 catches on 9 targets. Little breakout game here. 147 yards and a touchdown. My man is starting to look like a wide receiver 1. Let's just keep seeing that growth with CJ Stroud. Came into the game with a shoulder injury. So I was definitely surprised to see him slinging it around like he was. But my boy Nico over here, and Classic, man, we've been on this guy all off season. 7 catches again, 9 targets, 1 touchdown, 146 yards. Little breakout game. So keep your eyes here on Nico Collins, someone we were drafting with like our last pick in the draft, man. Paying dividends here already in week 2. So there you go. Who you giving a game ball out to?
I thought you were gonna go with the low hanging fruit. We were even talking about pre-show.
Nah, that's too.
Nakua?
Do it.
Him,
you got a game ball. I had to go with Nico, man.
San Francisco defense and everything.
That's why I couldn't do it. That's why I couldn't do it.
But he's the real deal. He went off against what? Number 1, number 2 defense. Just the Dallas and San Francisco right now.
Read off the stats. Just listen to the stat line.
Targets, 20 targets, 15 receptions,
targets.
147 yards. You also got a long of 20 yards. Yeah, I mean the dude's real. He even had a rushing attempts, 2 rushing attempts, 4 yards on the day. Ends up with 22.6 fantasy half PPR fantasy points. That's solid. That's a solid game.
Broke the NFL record. It was an NFL record, the most targets and catches by a receiver in their first 2 starts. Broke the record. This guy's off to better than Justin Jefferson, better than Jamar Chase, better than every other, name any wide receiver in the league in history, and no one's done what this guy's done in their first 2 NFL games. If this guy should be 99% owned, 100% owned in every league.
In every league, started in every league. Not
just
owned.
At least until we see what happens when Chubb comes back, man. But he's needs to be in there. For sure. So well done. Honorable mention. I gotta get, wide receiver positions. There's a lot of guys there. I gotta give honorable mention to this dude, Josh Reynolds, man. Coming out here for another week. 5 catches, 6 targets, 66 yards, but 2 touchdowns, man. Jared Goff is looking for him. 21.1 half PPR points, a couple more in full PPR. So again, just definitely someone you're gonna want to look after. So honorable mention game ball for me. So yeah, there we go. Martin's saying he's 0-2. Or if you're 0-2, don't stress. It'll be fine. Bye weeks will change the outcomes too. Yeah, absolutely. And Ron's even saying if you're 2-3 after week 5, you're fine as well. So you got Dr. Clutch in here saying, man, why do the Bears suck? I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know. We had Adam Rank on here and everything. We were going, the vibe. He ended up talking me into drafting a bunch of Bears.
Got you all
in
excited
our
about it.
yeah, I'm doing a draft, slow draft while we're doing that show, and end up drafting everybody, it seems like, from the Bears, and except for the ones that are kind of doing something. But I had a lot of DJ Moore and Khalil Herbert out
I
there.
think you get a lot.
They bounced back
goes
this week a little
like
bit,
a
but
good part of the beginning of the game, and then just shrivels up in the second half. It's kind of weird sometimes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
so
it is what it
just
is.
keep it up. You just need to keep it up, keep it going.
Anyway, let's move on, man. Let's keep it churning.
Right.
Go ahead, man.
All right, so let's go running backs this time. We got the top 3 here. Oh, you wanted to do the half PPR, so hold on, let me change it over to half PPR for 1 second.
Oh yeah, for the running backs.
Yeah. So still number 1, Brian Robinson Jr. He ends up going for
go.
18
Hold on,
attempts.
say that again.
Brian Robinson Jr.
You hear that, Ron?
Yeah.
RB1.
RB1.
RB1
right now.
Brian Robinson Jr. I don't want to hear any more, Ron. He made it to the top of the mountain. Can't say anything anymore to me. He's the RB1 of the week. Not everybody could say they did that. He has, so can't say anything. And then, of course, on cue, he says, B-Rob sucks. Of course. I'm just saying,
87
RB1.
yards, 4.8 yard average, 2 touchdowns, 3 targets receiving, 2 catches for 42 yards. Ends up the day with 27.9 half PPR points. Number 2, DeAndre Swift, tearing it up over there at Philly. Ends up going for 28 attempts, 175 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 targets, 3 receptions, 6 yards on that. Ends up going for 25.6 fantasy points on the day. And number 3 is Raheem Mostert, my guy. I like this guy. He's just getting
your guy. That's my Niner guy. I was the Mostert guy.
He's in Miami.
Remember?
He's in Miami now, so he's not.
I'm just saying, he's a Niner to
me.
me still, man.
No,
always root for Mostert.
Miami guy to me.
Read off his stats. Tell him.
He ended up going 18 yards, 18 attempts, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns, and just one reception for 6 yards. 25.2 fantasy points, half PPR fantasy points on there. And honorable mention for Kyron Williams and Jerome Ford, who's number 6. Saquon went out, so he's out. So
yeah. So game ball, you don't even have to ask me. You know who's getting my game ball. Brian Robinson, baby. B-Rob Jr. Robinson. Sitting at the RB1. I mean, it took, Ron, I'll tell you, it did take what do we have, 12 running backs not playing for him to be the RB1 this week, but that's okay. He's still there. But nice stat line for him. So go ahead, man. Who are you giving out your game ball to here at the running back position?
I'm going to go with Kyron Williams. Again, another guy on the Rams, because the Rams spit it to San Francisco, man. That was a pretty good game, and San Francisco defense is good, supposedly, but these guys still was able to run 14 attempts, 52 yards, and a TD over there against San Francisco. Ended up with 25 fantasy points on the day, half PPR.
You didn't even read off the best part about him. 10 targets.
10 targets, receiving six receptions for 48 yards, and the TD there also.
Don't short the man. That some people didn't even do that much as a wide receiver. Yeah.
Yes, my bad. So yeah,
there you go. Nice game ball.
Rushing, one receiving on the game. I mentioned him early on, and I was like, he's doing it. And here's the second week in a row. Must add.
Absolutely. All right, man. So let's we gonna do tight ends here?
Yeah.
You have tight ends there? Go ahead.
Tight ends. Last ones here. Tight ends. First one is TJ Hawkinson. Well, hold on. Let me change it back over here though, because you threw me off with the half PPR. I'll do half PPR next time I have it ready here.
That's all right. It's only week 2.
Again,
we're still getting our groove too.
Right. Targets, 7 receptions, 66 yards, and 2 TDs. One of them just garbage time touchdown though, killed me. I was just like, why is this guy even over here? How did he get the
Yeah.
catch? Anyways, ends up the day with 22.1 half PPR fantasy points. Number 2 guy here is Hunter Henry over in New England, doing pretty good things over there. 7 targets,
2
6
weeks in a
receptions.
row.
Yeah, 52 yards on the TD. Yeah, 2 weeks in a row. It's 14.2 fantasy points. And my guy, Mark Andrews, came back. I didn't even start him, though, because they were still talking about possibly injury. I was just wondering how much he would actually play. I had another guy at start, so it was all right. We got Mark Andrews of 8 targets, 5 receptions, 45 yards, and that touchdown. Ends up with 13 fantasy points in his return. And honorable mention to Travis Kelsey, who ends up in 4th on here because he was also the big name that was out and coming back as well. Ends up going for 9 targets, 4 receptions, 26 yards, and the TD with 10.6 fantasy points.
Very nice.
So,
Inefficient
yeah,
day, but still top 4 tight end. Like
yeah.
if he's in there, he's good.
What are you
So
doing
tight
game balls here
ends.
for tight ends here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually going to go down a little further here, man. I'm giving my game ball out to Sam Laporta, tight end
Oh, yeah.
8 this week. 5 catches, another 6 targets, 63 yards, good yardage for a tight end, scoring you 8.8 half PPR points. He's getting that target share. He's on the field, playing the snaps, is holding him, holding his own as far as blocking goes, which is going to keep him on the field and allow him to be that threat. Obviously, it looks like Goff trusts him, and they really don't have too many other options over there. Obviously, Reynolds, playing a big role. Of course, second and third to Amon-Ra St. Brown over there, at least for another couple weeks until Jameson Williams comes back, and we'll see even how much they even end up integrating him in the offense. Again, winning and doing good, catching balls and moving chains and scoring touchdowns will cure a lot of things. So again, if you're doing that and contributing to the team, maybe some of the off the field stuff can kind of be glossed over or put in the past. I'm hoping for it because the dude's a talent, and it'll be kind of scary to see Amon-Ra and Jameson Williams and Laporta on the field here at Goff's disposal. So, yeah. So game ball, Sam Laporta for me. Who are you giving out your game ball to?
Nice. Well, a guy who I actually traded for last year and had high hopes, but then he got hurt. And I don't know. He's doing well now in Arizona. Here, so Zach Ertz, man, I thought he probably had a pretty decent game. 8 targets, 6 receptions, for 56 yards. He didn't get the touchdown, but it would have been a good day. He's getting decent numbers over there. And I think he's going to be a waiver wire pickup. He should be owned. Um, yeah, so that's what I'm liking.
Very nice.
Shit.
Perfect. So that completes our game balls and top 3 performers at each position. So let's get into some of our waiver wire ads here, and we'll wrap up the show. So who do you got as you want to go by position, or you want to go with like your favorite your like number 1 ranked waiver wire target?
Well, we were already talking about him. Been talking this guy, Jerome Ford here. I
Do
think
it.
he's going to be, the waiver wire ad of the week. 16 attempts, 106 yards. He also got 4 targets, 3 receptions for 25 yards and a touchdown. And hardly owned anywhere. 17% sleeper, 16 Yahoo. So you got to go out and get this guy. Obviously, he's up there. I was already, looking at some other guys, but this after what happened, you got
Happened
to go
as
with
we were prepping.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It was like, wait, I got to change, but like a whole thinking here, because honestly, I was gonna talk about Zach Moss.
Talk about him. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, Zach Moss. We was late. I picked him up last week. Didn't get to start him, but I was like, yeah, I want to see what's going on. He came back from a broken arm injury here, and with Jonathan Taylor out, Sean over there, what's his name? Can't even think of the other running back over there. Just didn't get the job done week 1. They gave him the opportunity, gave him literally every single touch in the game over
Yeah.
there.
100% of the carries.
100 of the carries.
100% of the running back targets.
There was no doubt who was going to this week. So he ends up going for 18 attempts, 88 yards, 4.9 yard average, and that TD. He also got 4 targets receiving, 19 yards there. He's 56% owned on Sleeper, 54% owned on Yahoo. And I picked him up last week. I picked him up even in the Dynasty League. You guys remember? You guys mentioned you're like, that dude just broke his arm. I was like, he's got to be back. I was like, I was like, look at him now. Remember you guys mentioned that?
Yeah.
Somebody
Oh
mentioned
yeah.
that. I was
We were
like, hey,
talking
he's
shit
gonna
to
be
you
back.
for sure.
Yeah. I was like, this is gonna come back. You know what I mean? I was like, I got currently I stand with Kyron Williams and Zach Moss on my roster. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm like, got some good young guys here coming up. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And you mentioned one of them, obviously, with the Akers news that we talked about earlier at the top of the show, with Akers being last minute deactivated. And it looks like they're going to be trading him. Obviously, just decided to move on. Kyron Williams, 25 points, half PPR, 26 and a half, full PPR points, 14 carries, 52 yards against this Niners D, like you were talking about. One touchdown on the ground, one touchdown in the air for another 4 catches on 10 targets, 48 yards. He is 64% owned on Sleeper, 63% on Yahoo. So he's just right under that 65% threshold that we're talking about. So if he's out there, he's basically rest of the year starter, him and Jerome Ford. These are the guys that I like to spend my fab money for or use that number one waiver claim, because you're not just getting somebody for a couple weeks or not sure, what's going to happen after or what, role is going to be for a guy coming back. Their respective number ones are completely gone. Unfortunately, in the ways that they, are both gone. But in regards to fantasy, these are the type of guys you're trying to target. And again, this is why, hero and zero RB, builds work. These running backs go down at an alarming rate.
Unless it's the hero.
Yeah, unless it is your hero. But even still, you're able to go pick up guys. Yeah, in the middle of a game, after Chubb had already ran for, I think, 8 for like 64 yards. He was having a great game himself. Jerome Ford's able to pick up 16 carries and get 100 yards after not even starting the game, and 4 catches, or 3 catches on 4 targets and another touchdown. And he should have had another touchdown. Remember, he was down at the 1-inch line, and I think he got a little nicked up or needed a breather. So what's his name?
That. They should have waited.
Yeah.
They should have given the opportunity.
Just called a timeout at that point. Yeah, someone take a dive, right? Oh, I got hurt. Lay it on the ground, give him a time, get his breath. Yeah, cramp up a little bit. Got to help your boy out, man. So yeah, they did Ford a little dirty there. I thought when they didn't get in on that first play, I thought he'd come back in and just run it in the second play, but they gave it to who was it? I think Pierre Strong Jr., who came over from the Patriots. So he could be someone to just kind of have on your radar over there. Look like they still were trying to work him in.
It too.
Yeah, but there's a reason why he was moved on. But you never know. Again, he is the next man up now. He is the new Jerome Ford, and again, you never know what may happen next week, and he might be the next waiver ad next week if anything were to happen to Ford. Another guy in this backfield to kind of keep your eye out for, potentially Kareem Hunt. We know Ron mentioned it earlier. He's a free agent. Yeah, Neanderthal too. They were, Ron and him were both talking about it in the beginning. And I think Ron was talking to us about it in our Ambassador League chat. But 23% owned.
Him as the last pick too.
Yeah, like he's 23% owned. Yeah, on Sleeper and 13% owned on Yahoo still after week 2. So he's out, but he's still out there. And then I think someone else mentioned potentially Fournette. So again, these are why these free agent running backs kind of hold off. They know the injuries are going to come, and they might get that workload or pay that comes along with that as well. A little more leverage, come this time of year.
He's waiting for that phone to ring.
Absolutely, or his agent's making the call. So you never know. So a couple honorable mention guys. Not guys. To me, those guys are worth spending your fab on. Zach Moss, maybe. Ford, Williams for sure. Maybe Hunt. I'm not spending too much on him. He's probably going to go more closer to the fab range of these guys I'll talk about here in a second. But yeah, Zach, Kyron Williams, and Jerome Ford again. Those are the guys you're willing to unload. 25 to. I'm sure we'll see people. I mean, I heard people paying 40, 60, 80% for Puka Nacua last week, and we weren't even sure what his role is going to be after Cup comes back. So a starting running back in a run-heavy offense, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Ford go for 50 to 60% of people's budgets. Hopefully, in some of my leagues, they keep it a little more reasonable in that 25 to 40 range.
In my budget, I don't care.
But yeah,
Get your
I'm
guy.
pretty sure there's people who are gonna go get their guy. And again, it's one of those ones where, I mean, you kind of want to. Again, he could get hurt
Just
next week,
make
but
sure you have
yeah,
$0 bids and you're fine. Just draft afterwards.
yeah, and then you can go from there. So yeah, a couple honorable mention guys. Matt Breida, obviously, if Barkley's banged up, but he does get the Niners D. If Barkley misses extended time, then maybe Breida has some potential. I didn't look up his. I probably should have looked up his matchups after the Niners. But he's not someone I'm running to get to the waiver wire. But if you're just totally struggling and might need a guy to start this week, maybe you can look in Matt Breida's way. You also have Tony Jones Jr. With the Saints. He took over for Jamal Williams and ended up with 2 touchdowns, 12 carries, only 34 yards, 2.8 yard average. So again, nothing special. But he's literally 0% owned on Sleeper, 1% on Yahoo. With Kamara out, one more game guaranteed. And who knows, with Williams, he's up in the air. You might have a running back for 1 week that you can put in there. And obviously they trust him at the goal line to score 2 TDs. So yeah. Anybody else at the running back position you have on your list
they
there?
did try to use my guy over there. Help me out. Taysom Hill. And he didn't
yeah.
rush over there, but
He had like 75 yards, didn't he?
Yeah,
And he threw a pass.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he threw
Say
some
some hell,
passes.
man.
Dude, this guy, I'm telling you,
He's just
he might
football
be a thing
player.
again. I'm telling you, he's just a football player. I mean, what's wrong with the guy? I like a slash player. I mean, he's in there as literally Sleeper. I think has him as QB tight end now.
Tight end right
It
now.
does
Yeah.
it does have the slash designation. So, he might sneak in there. There might be an opportunity for 1 game. I'm not talking long term or anything like that right now.
Yeah.
Because it is Juwan Johnson over there this year. So he's just going to be used as needed, basically, and where needed, honestly, because he
Exactly.
can go anywhere. So he can play running back for a couple of downs. He can go wide receiver or tight end for a couple of downs. He can throw the ball for a couple of downs. So that's why they keep that guy around, because these guys get injured and they have a body to fill in. So just a guy. I mean, shoot, sometimes you might want to stream him on daily fantasy, see what happens, see if you get lucky. Right?
Yeah. You never know. Keep your eye on it. But again, not somebody I'm spinning a
No,
high waiver claim on, or even really a
no,
claim.
no.
He might be more of an ad on Wednesday morning
That's
if nobody
keeper league
claims him.
stuff or
So
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
if you're
no,
hurting your
he's not.
dynasty
Don't
league
go
and you
after
need to
that
fill a
guy.
spot or something, yeah, deep benches.
I
Yeah,
just like mentioning him. I like Taysom
definitely.
Hill.
Got all different kind of leagues, so we got to make sure we mention some people that may have. I mean, if you're scoring 2 touchdowns, you're going to make the show. All right. So we'll move on to wide receiver position. Like just a little PSA announcement. Puka Nacua, he's 81% owned on Sleeper, 77% on Yahoo. He should be in the 90s,
100
if
for
not
sure.
100,
100.
owned at this point. At least for the next 2 weeks until we see what happens when Cup comes back. But you're getting at least 2 more games. It looks like he may just
Wide
shatter
receiver
the
1 numbers,
target
man.
record. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in full PPR, man, half PPR. Get this guy on there. He hasn't even scored a touchdown yet, and he's like finishing top 3, and without even a touchdown. So,
Right.
like
Imagine when he
again,
starts
these yeah. Imagine if he actually starts scoring touchdowns. So, so again, that's more of a PSA. I'll turn it over to you. Who do you have? Give me a couple wide receivers if you have any on your waiver list this week. I had to dig deep for a couple just to have some. I mean, I don't.
I might as well talk about his counterpart as well over there, Tutu Atwell.
Do it.
He's got 7 to 9 receptions for 77 yards. He rushed once for 5 yards. And he's only 25% owned on Yahoo and 30% owned on ESPN. So you could look at Tutu as a a wide receiver 3 or a flex play. You know what I mean? But he's putting up pretty decent numbers even alongside Puka, and those guys are eating. I mean, they're out there. Um, you know, and Matthew Stafford is just slinging the ball around. So why not have some of that available? You know what I mean? These guys are like. I don't think it'll be bad until even after Cup comes back. There might be a little bit of relevance there because Cup seems to be lingering injury situation, which I hope he doesn't. Really hope he doesn't. But I mean, let's just face it. What if he does? And we might want to have that guy on your roster already. Another guy doing really well over there in New Orleans, Rashid Shaheed, went 4 for 63 yards. And he's just getting touches over there. He's looking really nice. 51% owned on Yahoo, 24% owned on ESPN. So those guys I've been looking at recently. that I want to have as a waiver wire pickups, depending on deep your league is. I think one guy that I know that you've been looking at too is Sky Moore over there for KC. Went 3 for 4, 70 yards and a touchdown. He looked
Had a
really
little
good.
get right game. Had a little get
Yeah,
right game there.
yes, exactly. But he's only 49% on Yahoo.
That got
And
dropped in a lot of leagues that I
yeah, he
saw.
got a lot dropped. Yeah, he got dropped.
Got
And week
spite
one,
dropped after week one.
yeah, that week one, then he gets right, like you're saying. So, don't panic. Hold on to your guys. They'll be there. One game doesn't do it. I know it's the beginning of the league, and we overreact the first one, but here we go.
That's what we're here for.
Uh,
Yeah.
So Ronald here is saying Puka is more playing the Cooper Cup role and Tutu is not. No, but I think he's going to have some opportunities maybe later on to might actually have as much staying power.
Yeah,
He might.
because he's that
He
field
might.
stretcher.
Yeah.
He basically opens things up for Cup, and if
Yeah,
people decide to cover Cup, then Tutu's open, and that's why he gets those couple shots.
Yeah,
Big
he
chunk
gets those
plays.
deep ones. Yeah.
Yeah, because then they're like, all right, well, if we're going to cover the deep shot, we'll just give Cup underneath, and that's what the Niners did all day to Nakua. They just didn't want to give up the big play, keep it in front of him. Good tackling team. Let him drive. Let Stafford make a mistake, pick him off. Go the other way.
Exactly.
That's how we do it. Anyway, I had to get my little shot in there. So I'll mention a guy here I kind of mentioned earlier, Josh Reynolds. Again, 5 catches, 6 targets, 66 yards, 2 touchdowns, 22% owned on Sleeper, 13% on Yahoo. Looks like he is the wide receiver 2 there for the Lions, like I mentioned, until JMO, comes back, and maybe if Laporta, comes out a little more, you're going to have a flash of Khalif Freeman and a couple other guys here and there. But I think, Reynolds was, there was weeks he was flexible, and even wide receiver 3, low end wide receiver 2 startable a couple weeks. Just the problem is you never knew when they were going to happen. As soon as he'd go off, you'd put him in, and then he'd have a bad game, and then you benched him for 2-3 weeks. He'd do good all those games. You feel comfortable, throw him in, gives you a dud. Just kind of one of those kind of guys. But again, bye week filler.
All right now.
Yeah, could be a guy, to nice guy just to kind of have on your bench. A couple up and coming guys I'll kind of just mention here quickly. Tank Dell, 10 targets. So he's on my radar, 21% owned on Sleeper, 5% on Yahoo. You had Jalen Hyatt, only 2 targets, but 2 catches, big bomb plays, similar to Tutu Atwell, 89 yards. So maybe some more to come there, the way that Giants defense is playing. And if there's no Saquon Barkley, we kind of saw Hyatt get on the field a little more. So maybe there's some opportunities there. And then another rookie, Marvin Mims Jr. Again, also 2 catches, 2 targets, but a field stretcher, 113 yards, and the big touchdown. They also gave him 2 rushes for 10 yards. He's 22% owned on Sleeper, 23% owned on Yahoo. And that's with Judy being back on the field. So who knows? Maybe we see Mims emerge a little more. And maybe Sutton starts to take a little back seat. Or just kind of loses a little bit of his target share. So, anybody else here at the wide receiver position you wanna mention?
I still got Jaden Reed, Green Bay. He ended
Ooh,
up
I like
going
that
4 for 8, 37 yards and 2 touchdowns. Only 10% owned on Yahoo and 13% on ESPN. So we had good time hauling in 4 reception, 37 yards, and the touchdowns is obviously crucial, right? So you got to pay attention to who's getting those touchdowns, because sometimes it's not always the guy with all these licks going down the field.
Dobbs put up a dud.
Dobbs put up a dud. Christian Watson still hurt, so it's got to go to somebody. You know what I mean? Yeah, well, he's coming back, but when? When is he?
Didn't
when's he in?
Wasn't there like a Dontavian Wicks that scored a touchdown as well too? I thought I saw.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, but it just some guy. I don't know.
Jordan loves slinging it over there.
Yeah,
got to talk to Classic
Jordan
and what he thinks about Green Bay now. It hasn't been a fluke at least through 3 weeks. So, I mean, he was all on Pittsburgh, the way, especially after how they looked in preseason, and he didn't come around on Green Bay, and they look like the much better team after 2 weeks. So,
right,
I'll have to talk to him about that on Friday. Make sure you remind me if you happen to be in the chat. All right. So, anybody else you got there, wide receivers, or you want to move on to tight ends here, and we'll close it out?
We'll move on to tight ends. Yeah.
All right. We actually got some tight ends this week, man. Tight ends making noise. Streamer alert. And just going back to that, those rookie wide receivers, I'm not spending a lot of fab or using, top claim offers on those guys. Those are just some bench pieces just to kind of keep your eye on, to fill out your bench as you have some of these injuries to see what happens. Some lotto tickets to invest in.
Some guys a handgun too, if you can. Yeah.
Exactly. So tight end position, you mentioned it earlier, Zach Ertz, so I won't go too much into there. I will take a guy that I have on a lot of my best ball teams, took him super late. I thought it was going to be Aaron Rodgers throwing to him, but it's Zach Wilson right now, at least for the immediate future. Maybe there's a change on the horizon. But Tyler Conklin, 5 catches, 6 targets. We all know kind of the younger QBs, look for the tight end as their safety blanket. 50 yards on 5 catches. He's only 8% owned on Sleeper, 4% on Yahoo. So again, if you're looking to stream 1 week, he's a guy you should be able to pull off the waiver wire according to the ownership percentages there. He's available for you. So I'll leave that one for you. Go ahead. Who's your guy?
Well, I was going to mention this is a guy that I should have had given out a game ball to as well. As Cowboys tight end Jake Ferguson. He ends up going for 4
He only
targets,
had 11 yards.
11 yards and a touchdown, but he had another look at a touchdown. Henderson, they're just getting tight ends are getting the touchdowns if you look at it over there, right?
Yeah, that offense, yeah.
That's all I'm trying to say with that. Those guys, when they get close, it's actually going to the tight end. So 29% own on Sleeper.
And they're a good offense, so they should be in the red zone.
Exactly, they've been doing incredible with the defense. The offense hasn't been too bad. They're getting it down there. They're scoring their points. I mean, they've been facing the New York that has a pretty good defense, man. Don't get it wrong. You know what I mean? It's just that their offense can't keep them off the field.
Yeah, they just shut down the Bills.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. They just shut down the Bills. Another high power offense, but hey, I like Ferguson going forward. And then we were talking waiver wire ads. If you're streaming a tight end, why not him?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I'll mention the last guy. We already kind of talked about him, so don't need to spend too much time. But your tight end 1 this week, Hunter Henry, only owned in 48% of Sleeper leagues, 55% of Yahoo leagues, 7 targets, 6 catches, 52 yards, and another touchdown. Definitely somebody that Mac Jones feels comfortable with. Kind of a revolving door there at wide receiver. You got Juju in and out, not playing full snaps. You got, Kendrick Bourne. You got Devontae Parker making his debut in the lineup this week. But that one constant, guy you relied on last year, Hunter Henry. And remember, Belichick paid this guy. So I'm sure they want to use the guy they paid for. So again, not worth a ton of fab, maybe even a $0 bid, maybe a little more based on that ownership percentage. You might have to throw a couple bucks on him if he's out there. But yeah, if you're hurting for a tight end or need to throw someone in there, he's a guy that I feel he's almost getting to that, like he's almost kind of replacing Pat Freiermuth to me. Like he's one of those, and Njoku, like he's like a guy I feel comfortable kind of putting in and starting until he gives me a reason to pull him out. So yeah, so that wraps up tight ends. You got any other ones?
No, that's it. Those are the guys.
That's
Those are
it.
the top ones
All right.
of the week.
So not that bad. So there we go. So those are our top waiver wire ads by position. I think the only guy I didn't mention was Gardner Minshew at the quarterback position. I think we kind of went into Jerome Ford right away there. But again, with Anthony Richardson dealing with that concussion, make sure you keep an eye on him as far as your like super flex leagues. Anybody who didn't get that third quarterback, hopefully you already had Minshew, knowing he had a running quarterback ahead of him, and this could very well happen. It only took till week 2 for it to happen. And he comes in, 19 completions on 23 attempts, 171 and a touchdown, and 112.14 passer rating. We all know Minshew mania. It might be here to stay again, at least for a week or two. But we'll see what happens there as Richardson progresses through the concussion
protocol.
To
some of the comments here. We have here north here. It's going. What's going on with Jamar Chase?
Yeah, just in a dud. You don't like to see Burrow re-aggravating that calf injury. We'll see what happens there. So that's a little tough to deal with, but it's not like he forgot how to play football. They just got to find their groove, get some good play calling. Remember, if we're drafting Chase number 2, he's a guy that keeps defensive coordinators up at night, and they'll make anyone else beat them but Jamar Chase, and they're going to force Joe Burrow to throw to somebody else, and I think that's what we're kind of seeing right now. Kind of reminds me when everybody started playing that deep cover 2 to kind of take out Tyreek against Mahomes, kind of force them just to run it to be able to open up the pass versus passing to open up the run. So I think they just kind of have to get back to basics, start, doing some bubble screens, getting some quick slants, some comeback routes, maybe some, deep ends before you start hitting those posts and, fade routes and, kind of start setting them up, but, double moves, things like that to be able to scheme Jamar Chase open. We know it can happen. We see what Kyle Shanahan does every week to get these wide receivers wide open. They'll figure it out. I have no doubt.
No time to panic. No worries.
Yeah.
So we got a really good question here. The Joker.
Read it off.
That's a who to drop for Jerome Ford, full PPR, Khalil Herbert, Tyler Agilo, or Alexander Madison, or none. Drop. I would
definitely.
Drop.
I think I drop. Oh, go ahead.
I drop at Algier.
Ooh, I'm gonna go Herbert. Just because I don't think in that offense Algier's going anywhere. It's gonna be a split there with Bijan. I mean, Bijan still got 20 carries, but Algier got 16 carries. So they're just gonna run the ball that many times in Atlanta. So I think they both can eat there. I just think that's what they're gonna do. And their defense is good enough to kind of keep them close.
By the end of the year,
he had 20 touches and like 5 catches. He had 25 touches, and still Tyler Algier got 16 carries. Like he's fine.
But
I'm not throwing that out on the waiver wire. If anything, it's between Herbert and Madison. I think either one of them's fine for Jerome Ford with his potential upside. Madison hasn't looked great in that offense, and they just throw it so much anyway. I just don't think the volume's going to be there. Khalil is getting the volume, is still getting some targets, but it looks like Roshan might be kind of etching in and taking over by the end of the year. I know you're real big on Roshan right now, so I was surprised you didn't actually say Herbert. But it's tough. I'd probably go Madison right now, but I'd try to maybe just package Herbert and Madison, try to pull off a trade before. I mean, you got a couple hours here, all day tomorrow until waivers run. So try to do a 2-for-1, package Madison with Herbert, open up that spot and either, dump your, if you have the number 1 claim or if you plan on just dumping Fab on him to get forward, then you'll have that open spot to do it. But I hate to just give up one of these guys because they're still starting, running backs. They're low in RB2, high in to mid RB3s at this point. Like you can't just throw that out there. But I think Ford,
Alexander Madison doesn't have nobody else really taking touches away from him. They
right. Just just
had to been throwing the ball. They've been behind on the games and half the game script. You know what I mean? They've had to throw the ball. So
that's why I kind of lean him.
And then
I'd like to trade.
What you're talking about, Khalil Herbert with Roshan is the same thing. I think with Bijan. I think Bijan to take over the background, the whole role. But I mean, they are like you were saying, they do have that many plays.
Yeah, they're not going to give him 35 carries. Like that's just not going to happen. Especially after what he just seen what happened to Nick Chubb. He's not giving Bijan 35 carries. He's not putting him in harm's way.
That's just,
maybe. Swift just got 28 carries, so it could happen. Yeah, Derrick Henry had like 25 carries. So anyway, all right. So good question, Joker. Yeah. Go ahead, read it off.
Oh, wait, hold on. My computer glitched out a little bit here. Hold on. The business circuit, here it is. It's got 8-man, Mahomes, Pollard, Eckler, Wilson, Kirk, Waller, McLaren, Najee, Cards, Vogt. Bench is Deshaun Watson, Gabe Davis, McPherson, Bourne, 2-2. And what should I do? I'm 0-2. Oh. Well, get rid of Eckler.
No, you're not getting rid of Eckler. I would try to, if you can move on Wilson, potentially. Not real big on Najee there. Your bench isn't too bad. Like maybe get rid of Bourne. It would, I need to know more so who's out there to grab. Obviously, some of the guys we mentioned here, Puka Nacua. Obviously, you want to grab him. I think Josh Reynolds over, Kendrick Bourne at this point. I would take. Just some minor things like that. Then you just got to wait for Eckler to get healthy. Maybe package Pollard and Wilson for something if you can. I'm just so worried about. No, Pollard's still good. He's been putting out good points. Kirk I'm big on. So yeah, I mean, those are just some of the guys, some of those little minor changes that I would
Pick up
make.
some of these running backs because Eckler's out, and I mean, who's he running as running back? Besides
Yeah,
Pollard.
for sure. So yeah, like your Jerome Fords, and again, it's 8-man, so there should be guys, out there. So I would need to know a little more. But that's why you want to go in and check out hit in the description. You'll see the link at the very top to join our private sleeper community. You can post screenshots of your league there. You can post screenshots of the available guys on the waiver wire. And I can go, spend more time, go in depth with you on there versus, here on the show. So we'll move on here. But I definitely
Here's a good one.
would love to help you out.
DJ Moore too much for B-Rob?
In a full PPR, yeah, if you have no RBs, I wouldn't mind making that trade. You're kind of giving up a lot. You should be able to get a little more for Bijan, but again, he's coming off RB1, so you're kind of buying high. They'd be buying low. It's kind of one of those perfect buy low, sell high kind of situations for both of you guys. Or I guess the DJ Moore side is selling low and buying high for B-Rob, which is your side. But again, if you need that running back, I don't think anything's really changing with B-Rob. If you go back to the beginning of the show, you'll see I have a lot of love for B-Rob. You on board with that, or would you like to see a little more, a little less for B-Rob?
I think it's what you said in the beginning. I like DJ Moore, man, and I don't think B-Rob's just. I think you're buying high on him. I think you can get more from DJ Moore. I think you could get somebody, a better running back, more proven running back from that.
Yeah. So he's saying there's Zach Moss, Jerome Ford, Reynolds, Elijah Moore, Gibson, Dobbs, Reed, Sky Moore. So I'd probably rank those Ford for sure.
Jerome Ford, Zach Moss.
Moss. I'd probably go Ford, Sky Moore because he's more season long. Moss is probably good here until JT gets back, unless they trade JT, and then he might be good season long.
If he comes
from
back,
what we know, But for what we know right now, like we only can go off what we know right now. So I'd keep more ahead of Moss just myself. Then I'd go Dobbs / Reed, then Gibson, then Moore. Reynolds, I'd like to have Reynolds definitely over like Bourne. So yeah, I'm surprised there's not a couple better guys on the waiver wire in 8-man. Must be. I would just think there's should be better guys out there, but yeah, I guess so. Maybe there's just a lot of guys hurt, so there's just nobody out there. We just talked about 12 guys who are like out. So I guess that is what's left, unfortunately.
It has to be 3 wide receivers deep. Yeah. On that.
But I'm fine with a lot of those guys. So yeah, there you go. So that kind of wraps up the show for tonight, man. We'll try to get out of here. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, if you guys can help us out by subscribing to the channel. If you're already subscribed, hit that like button for us. We'll be back here on Wednesdays for our roster management show. Frank and I will dive into those teams a little more and get your lineups right heading into week 3. More questions like the one we just had there, but we'll be in a better frame of mind in that trade mindset versus overreacting and getting to our waiver ads here. But we're always trying to get our lineups right heading into that next week. Also, make sure you guys check out underdogfantasy.com. If you guys do sign up, get into some of their pick'ems, man. They're a lot of fun. Use that promo code GetRight. They will match your first deposit up to 100% up to $100. So make sure you guys go check them out. Get in one of their pick'ems, their higher lower rivalry picks. And if you get into if you sign up with them now, you'll get a mystery pick'em special when you make that first deposit of at least $10 or more. In addition to that 100% deposit match, you'll basically get a free mystery pick'em special. It's usually like some player over under like a half a yard. So it's basically a free pick to get you started. So make sure you guys go check them out. Use that promo code GetRight. Also, make sure you guys check out our other sponsor, TrophySmack.com. They're great because they give out awesome things like this. Take your league to the next level, man. Get you guys a custom design ring or maybe a custom design belt, which Frank has mine right now. He's keeping it nice and warm for me for this upcoming year. especially how I'm
2-0 in that
2-0
league.
that. Oh, so am I. We're on a collision course again for this belt again, so it'll be fun. And then of course your Kirk Cousins chain here, man. Get in that description. Use that link to Trophy Smack and use that promo code Get Right when you check out, and that will help out support the channel here for us. So yeah. So anything else you want to mention here before we come back here on Friday?
Nah.
Oh, what's up, Eli? Sorry, brother. Yeah, man, we're just wrapping up, my man.
About to wrap it up. Just to say, hey,
don't panic.
See what happens with him. There's plenty of waiver wire guys to go out and get. And get right, man. It's time to roll your seeds up.
Dig in, right? Get that grind on. Of course, make sure you guys go help support our affiliate channels, man. You got Tim and AJ over at the Fantasy Frontline Podcast. You got Cody McGoats, Shirtless Pat, Greg over there at the Checkdown Podcast. Make sure you guys check them out. They're live on Wednesdays. And then you got our new show going to be coming soon here, the Dead Zone Fantasy Show with our one and only Dim Boys, Adam J. So make sure you guys go in the description, hit that subscribe button for them as well as for us here. So yeah, man. So again, we appreciate you guys. Ron, as always, brother, sticking it out here late on the East Coast over there. True warrior, man. Appreciate the support you always give us, man.
Sure.
I know we talk a lot of shit back and forth, but that's what I love about you, man. I got to have somebody like that. So really appreciate it, man. I always enjoy our conversations. So again, we definitely appreciate all you guys out there. Come join us again on Wednesday. We'll be back here again on Friday. And then Sunday morning, going live, taking your questions at all times. And if you want to reach us outside of the show times, just go into the description. Again, join our sleeper thread, our private little sleeper channel. We also do injury updates there. You can post screenshots of your team. Myself, Frank, all of us here at Get Right will give you our feedback and can definitely get your questions answered day or night. So with all that said, man, for Dustin, for Classic Mike, for Frank and myself, we wish you guys good luck here on this upcoming week 3. May your waivers be merry. We'll be back here on Wednesday to see who you got. Remember to unload that budget on Ford if you want them. If you need them, don't be afraid to spend. So go get it, man. Good luck. We'll see you guys here on Wednesday. Peace out.
Fantasy is the play. Marking nothing, but I tuned in.